Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Colorcast. Hope we're all doing well. We had some big playoff games in both the NBA and the NHL. In the NBA, we had the Boston Celtics defeat the Milwaukee Bucks 108-95 in Game 6. They forced Game 7 in Boston. Game 7 will be in Boston. Jason Tatum had 46 points and 9 rebounds. Huge game for Jason Tatum. He takes over. Did what he needed to do. Big game for man. Giannis actually had 44 points and 20 rebounds. He's been so good this playoff, especially in this series. But he still might not win the series. Looks like he'll still have to do all the work because Chris Middleton not expected to play in Game 7. He was ruled out basically for the series before the series even started. There was some rumors he might be able to come back maybe for Game 6 or 7, but that's looking very unlikely. Boston forces Game 7. And the Golden State Warriors beat the Memphis Grizzlies 110-96 in Game 6. They win the series in 6 games. They'll move on to play the winner of the Phoenix Suns and Dallas Mavericks. Klay Thompson, 30 points and 8 rebounds in that one. Game 6, Klay was back. He had 8 threes in the game. Desmond Bane had 25 points, 7 rebounds in the loss. Though Memphis Grizzlies should definitely keep their heads held high. They had a great year. No one expected them to be second in the West. They finished really well this year, and they went all the way to the Western Conference semifinals. They lost to a very good team as well. That's what we had last night. No games tonight in the NBA. Teams are rest. And Titans Talk is in the chat here. He's just actually wrote in all caps, Joe Burrow is overrated. Ooh. That's an interesting take. Titans Talk. Why do you think he's overrated? You think he's not going to be as good as people are saying he is? You think he, because he only really had one great year, because he's only his second year in the league? I want to hear your take on that. That's a very bold take. Stop getting him because he was carried. I don't know if he was carried. He did have a great year. He did over 4,600 yards and 30-plus touchdowns behind a crappy offensive line. He did have fantastic weapons. Of course, he had Jamar Chase. Better than Josh Allen. I think that's very fair. Not better than Josh Allen. I would probably the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL in no specific order. Mahomes, Josh Allen. I would say Aaron Rodgers. He is two-time defending MVP. Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers. I would say Herbert. I do believe Herbert right now is better than Joe Burrow. That 5 spot, I might put Joe Burrow. Maybe I don't like the guy, but Tom Brady is still a fantastic quarterback. There's a bunch of very good quarterbacks. Obviously, Tom Brady's got 7 Super Bowls, which helps. So, Titans Talk is not a fan of Joe Burrow. Titans Talk, do you have an NFL team? Are you are you a Ravens fan or something? You looking for playoffs? I think that's fair. They got, in that wild card round, Derek Carr did not play well in that game. The Raiders shot themselves in the foot all game. Oh! I'm so dumb. Of course you're a Titans fan. Titans Talk is your name. Of course you're a Titans fan. Yeah, and then in the divisional round, they played Titans. Ryan Tannehill blew that game. I mean, they did play great in the second half against the Chiefs. I thought they completely outplayed them. And then, of course, they lost in the Super Bowl. Let me ask you, Titans Talk, what do you think about your Titans this year? Take away Jamar Chase, Burrow would suck. Ooh, that's a bold take. What do you think about your Titans this year? Last year, very good year last year, 12-5, number 1 in the AFC. Unfortunately, lost in the divisional round, or upset by the Cincinnati Bengals. In my opinion, Ryan Tannehill completely threw that game. Selling 80 Brown was the best receiver of the Titans ever had. Yeah, that was a tough move. I was surprised they made that move. I know they were talking about him possibly getting traded because they were having trouble agreeing on a contract extension that he wanted. But I'm surprised they made the move during the draft to send him to Philly. Last year was the best chance to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, that was a great shot. They definitely should have beaten the Bengals, in my opinion. And Chiefs would have been tough. But I think that was a winnable game for them. They could have easily went to the Super Bowl last year. They had a great year. Let me ask you, Titans Talk, what is your opinion on the whole thing with Ryan Tannehill and saying that it's not his job to mentor Malik Willis, the new draft pick? What do you think about that? The Bills would destroy the Bengals. I do think the Bills would have possibly beating the Bengals. I think that's very fair. I don't know about destroy, but I think the Bills. I would probably take the Bills to win that game. Especially, I would have picked Eli Apple apart. It's right, but she shouldn't say. Yeah, I agree. I talked about on my show about a week ago. Regret when it happened. It depends on the situation. If a quarterback is brought in, or let's say he's there a year or two, whatever, even if he's there like 10 plus years, and the coach pulls him aside and say, look, man, I think you're a great player. We love what you've done for the organization. You are our starting quarterback 100%, but as you know, we brought in this kid through a draft, and our goal is for him to eventually take over for you as a starting quarterback this year, along with your responsibilities that you've always had as a starting quarterback. Make him throws you need to make. Make sure we win football games, being a leader on and off the field. We want you to take this kid under his wing and teach him a couple things. That's going to be part of your responsibilities. Then yes. But yeah, if that's part of his job, according to the coaches and the organization that wants him to do that, then yes, he should take the guy under his wing. But if that's not said, they just bring in a kid, to just, for now be the backup, and then they'll evaluate him. That is technically Tannehill is right. It's not his job to mentor Malik Willis. But like you said, Kishino said, that's a very bad look for Ryan Tannehill. Bengals fans act like they play good in the playoff. Luck on their side. They're brain dead. Titans talk is not a fan of the Bengals fan. A Bengals fan, he is not a fan of the Bengals at all. Going back to Ryan Tannehill, I mean, Malik Willis was a third-round draft pick. Well, he could have easily been in the first round. I thought he'd be in the first round, but he dropped to the third round for whatever reason. Tannehill's job this year is definitely not in any danger. At least doesn't seem to be in any danger right now, in my eyes. Titans Talk said, Joe Burrow is getting shoved down our throats like the Cowboys. Annoying. Yeah, I think he's a great quarterback. I think he'll have a great career. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, going back to the Titans, Tannehill, right now, his job is not in any danger. He'll definitely be the start of this year. Once he goes back to where he did in Miami, maybe even worse. The only way Malik Willis is getting in the game, or if Tannehill gets hurt. People just stop comparing Burrow to Brady. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't even see the comparisons either. Maybe their arm talent is both good, not great. But Burrow can run and Brady can't. So Brady was drafted by the Patriots, who have always been a very good organization. Brady made them, the Kings. They're only the Kings because of Brady. But those was a very stable organization before Brady got there. It wasn't, fantastic, but wasn't like the Jets or anything like that. And Burrow first of all, Brady was a sixth-round pick that they kind of got lucky on. If Mel Lewis hadn't injured Drew Bledsoe, Brady may have never sold the field. And Joe Burrow was the number one overall draft pick by the Bengals, who were a terrible organization and had not won a playoff game in 30 years until Burrow got there. So yeah, I don't even get that comparison. Besides the fact that Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings, and Burrow's only been in the league 2 years, and although it was very impressive what he did last year, at the end of the day, he only has 3 playoff runs compared to Brady, who's got a zillion and 7 Super Bowls. Because they suck. Yeah, they're a bad organization. I've always ran the division. Yeah, they for the most part. Ravens. That's a very, very good organization. They've been very successful, but they haven't really even been around that long. Cleveland's been a dumpster fire. Pretty much, maybe back in the 50s they were good, but they've always been a dumpster fire. Bengals have always been a bad organization. Ravens and Steelers, and obviously Pittsburgh's been around so much longer than Baltimore. But yeah, that's interesting what happened with Ryan Tannehill. Like I said, his job's not in any danger right now, but I'm pretty sure Titans, so correct me if I'm wrong, I think his contract is up after the year. So maybe Tannehill got the feeling that this is the Titans' way of saying we're pushing you out, because his first year and a half as a starting quarterback, when he took over from Mariota through his first full year, he was fantastic. His numbers were similar to Patrick Mahomes, actually. Last year, I thought he wasn't quite as good. Mayer wasn't playing, he wouldn't have lost. He wouldn't have thrown 3 picks. I don't know. Mariota wasn't too impressed with him. Let me ask you, Titans talk. Marcus Mariota, do you think the Titans should have gave up on him when they did? Do you think he deserves another shot? What's your opinion on him? I think he was a safe quarterback. Yeah, I thought. Do I think he ever lived up and will ever live up to being the second pick in the entire draft? No, I think that ends up being a reach. But he had, I believe, 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 years over there. I never thought he had the greatest circumstances. He ever to take coverage. Yeah, he was a guy, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, so they probably shouldn't have taken him second overall. Although he was fantastic in college. His last year in college, he won the Heisman in Oregon. He had like almost 60 touchdowns that year. He was fantastic. But I don't think he's as bad as someone like Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield or something like that. I think he's at least better than those guys. We'll see what he can do with the Atlanta Falcons this year. It appears he'll probably start over rookie Desmond Ridder. Atlanta isn't in great shape either with weapons around him, but we'll see if he can try to reboot his career. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Tannehill's going to be a free agent after the season, so I think he gives a little bit ticked off because next year he may not be the quarterback and he'll have to go somewhere else. I think Tannehill's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. You put some pieces around him, he could be very good. He can win some football games. He reminds me of like Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins. He's not an elite level starter. He can't take something out of nothing like Josh Allen or Rodgers or Brady or Mahomes can. But if you give him some pieces, he can be a really good quarterback. You mean maybe even be able to win a couple playoff games. Probably won't win a Super Bowl with him, but he can get into the playoffs pretty much every year if you give him some weapons. I mean, look what he had in Miami. He had nothing in Miami, and then he had he played terrible, and he goes to Tennessee. You give him AJ Brown, you give him Derrick Henry, and he just thrives. That's my spiel on the Tennessee Titans. That was a good conversation that Titans Talk and I were having. Back to the NBA, we had. I want to give a shout out to my girl Brandy. She's got a really good show on Colorcast. She's very involved on social media. She's in here. Welcome in, Brandy. Going back to the NBA, as for tomorrow night, second round wraps up. We got 2 Game 7s tomorrow, 3:30 on ABC. We have Bucks and the Celtics in Game 7. That's a big game. And at 8 o'clock on TNT, we have the Dallas Mavericks against the Phoenix Suns, Game 7. So 2 Game 7s on tomorrow night in the NBA. No pun said Bucks in 6. Well, it's Game 7 tomorrow night. But we'll see what happens. I thought Boston might have won the series because they didn't have Middleton, but I think Milwaukee might win tomorrow night. We shall see. It will be a great game. Titans Talk is not a fan of Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will never be a top 5 quarterback. He is not. I'm a Joe Burrow train. I think he could be. He's very, very talented. Still so young. He had a great year last year. And then now we got a clash going on. Zach just said Joe Burrow ain't even close overrated. Zach and Titans Talk are going to throw it down. Yeah. Randy, I haven't seen you. I hope you've been doing well. Hope you're enjoying the nice weather. At least it's nice. It's getting nice where I am. I don't know if it's the same where you are. As for the NHL playoffs, Rangers beat the Penguins 5-3. They forced Game 7, their second straight game in a row that they've won. They're going down 3-1. Brayson's hot as heck, but I think you're out west, so it gets hot over there. And no punches said Joe Burrow equals Dan Marino won every Super Bowl. That's it. Well, Titans Talk. The Pons are on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to Joe Burrow. And Zach just said get some Game 7s galore. Yeah, we got a bunch of Game 7s this weekend. My Rangers pick up a big win. They win 5-3. They came with a 2-0 lead. Titans Talk just said the Chiefs choked the AFC Championship game. They kind of did, honestly. They were up, 21-10 at the half? And then after that, they blew that. Then it's been the 80s in Ohio. Wow, hasn't been that yet, but it's been in the 70s for the most part here in New York. But New York. Dog water all game. First half he struggled a bit. The second half I thought he played great in that game. Panthers beat the Capitals 4-3 in overtime. Another comeback win for Florida. They move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Carter Verhaeghe, his sixth goal of the series, he gets the game winner in overtime. Alex Ovechkin was very upset with the loss. He said the elimination. He said he used the expletive. He said it's like effing terrible or something. He said it's on me. It's on Backy, referring to Nicholas Backstrom. It's on Osh, referring to TJ Oshie. It's on Carly, referring to John Carlson. It's on everyone. So he was not happy with them getting in the first round before the playoffs. We have the Dallas Stars beat the Calgary Flames 4-2. I thought Flames would wrap up the series, and the Stars winning Game 6. They forced Game 7 against the Calgary Flames. Tiny Talk said Joe Burrow isn't even the best quarterback in his division. So you're saying, Tiny Talk, that Lamar Jackson to show Watson is better than him. I mean, when Watson's on the field, he's probably top 5 in the league, but he didn't play last year, and obviously he has a lot of issues that, of course, we won't get into. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, he kind of is flying under the radar, I feel like. He gets a little overhated. I mean, I don't think he's the greatest passer in the world, but what he can do with his legs, I have never seen before. I mean, outside of Michael Vick, I've never seen a quarterback do what he can do with his legs. But, West has taken a terrible tackling since this playoff. That is true. Other than Hopkins, right? Texans completely blew that team up. That team a couple years ago I was thinking about the other day, like 2 years ago, but Texans won their division. They had a 4-touchdown lead on the Chiefs in the AFC division round game. Looked like they were like 3 quarters away from going to the AFC Championship game and against the Tennessee Titans. And then after that, they blew that game, and that's when it went all downhill. Bill O'Brien, got fired. And then, so many guys left the team. The Deshaun Watson thing happened, and they just now they're a sinking ship. Back to the NHL Playoffs. First round continues today. At 4:30 on ESPN, we have Bruins and Hurricanes, Game 7. Carolina was up 2-0 in that series, then Bruins won 2 straight. They split the last 2. We got a lot of Game 7s going on in both the NBA and the NHL. Like Zach mentioned earlier, we got the Lightning and Maple Leafs Game 7, 7 o'clock TNT. Oh, 7 o'clock on TNT, Lightning, Maple Leafs. So one of two things is going to happen. The 2-time defending champs are going to lose in the first round, and that's going to, create some conversation. Is Tampa's dynasty over? Or if Tampa wins this game and Toronto blows another 3-2 series lead in the first round, they should just blow that team up. If they lose tonight, If they lose tonight, Sheldon Keefe, their head coach, should be fired in the locker room. In the locker room, not tomorrow, not next week. In the locker room, he should be fired. And I have to go out and get Barry Trotz and fire Sheldon Keefe if they lose tonight. Big game. Lightning are really good, but Toronto, I mean, I picked Tampa to win the series because Tampa's a 2-time defending champ. They got so much experience, and Toronto can't get out of the first round for their lives. But when you really look at their teams overall, Toronto actually was a really good team this year. They should win the series. If they weren't such a cursed franchise, I would probably say Toronto should win the series. But see what happens. Tiny Sock said, Bengals fans act like Carson Palmer wasn't good. He was better than Joe Burrow ever be. Ooh, that might be a little of the stress, Titans talk. Carson Palmer, he was very good quarterback. He's definitely the best quarterback to come out of USC. All the other ones are terrible. Sam Darnold, Matt Leinart, Matt Barkley were all terrible. And he was definitely the best one to come out of that school, Carson Palmer. I think Joe Burrow would definitely be better than Carson Palmer. Especially as long as he stays healthy. Carson Palmer had a lot of injury concerns as well. And yeah, another Game 7, Kings and Oilers, Game 7. Can McDavid and Draisaitl finally get out of the first round? Or the Kings, who do have 2 Stanley Cups in the last 10 years. So, will they prevail? That's at 10 o'clock on ESPN. So a lot of good playoff games on tonight in the NBA and in the NHL. We got some Joe Burrow slander from Titans talk. A couple of guys trying to back him, like Zach and the punts. But shifting gears to baseball, Titans talk just said, I hate how Joe Burrow gets all the love, but Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert gets all the hate. I mean, Rodgers, I think, is warranted because, first of all, he's a complete diva off the field, and he can't win a playoff game for his life. He loses in the second or third round every single year. Herbert doesn't make any sense. Herbert's been amazing, just that his teams have been good, haven't been good enough. Where it's always something the Chargers throw. Their O line crumbles. Their defense isn't good. Their coach isn't good. Their kicker can't make. He's missing field goals. They've always really had great quarterbacks. You had Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame. Phillip Rivers was a great quarterback. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame despite his playoff failures. Herbert's looking like he's going to be a great one. Herbert's fantastic. As for the MLB, last night we had the Reds over the Pirates 8-2, Brewers over the Marlins 2-1, Astros over the Nationals 6-1, Mariners over the Mets 2-1, Tigers over the Orioles 4-2, Rays over the Blue Jays 5-2, Padres over the Braves 11-6, Red Sox over the Rangers 7-1, Twins over the Guardians 12-8, Yankees over the White Sox 10-4, Giants over the Cardinals 8-2, Royals over the Rockies 14-10. We had the Angels over the Athletics 2-0, Diamondbacks over the Cubs 4-3, and the Phillies over the Dodgers 12-10. Before we move on to the games from today, Titans Talk just said people have to hate on Tua as well. I don't mind the hate for Tua. I'm not sold on him. I haven't loved what I've saw his first 2 years. He's had some trouble staying on the field, first of all. The arm talent we saw at Alabama, he has not shown that in the pros. The O-line has been terrible. But I don't know what else he wants now. He's got an offensive minded head coach in Mike McDaniel. They got him a star receiver in Tyreek Hill. They got him and Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki. Got a good running back room, a good defense. O-line still isn't great, but I think it's a little bit better than it was last year. You brought in Taron Armstead in free agency. I don't know what else he wants. He's got to have a big year this year, or I think Miami goes somewhere else with a quarterback position next year. As for games for today, Giants and Cardinals are underway. Top of the first, no score. What else we got? We got Padres Braves at 4:05, Angels Athletics at 4:07. We have the Orioles and the Tigers at 4:10. At 6:10, we got Blue Jays Rays. We got Brewers and Marlins 6:35. Reds and Pirates at 7:05. We got Red Sox and Rangers, and then Astros and Nationals at 7:10. We got Yankees and White Sox. We got Guardians and Twins, and we got Mariners and Mets. At 8:10, Cubs and Diamondbacks, as well as Royals and Rockies, 9:40, Angels and Athletics, and 10:10, Phillies and Dodgers. We got for MLB. Let's quickly check the Brian Nelson tournament that's going on. Have a good one. Titans Talk was next to the conversation today. That was a lot of fun. Have a good rest of your day. Brian Nelson tournament going on right now. Sebastian Munoz is the leader right now. He's at 18 under par right now. He's a shot ahead of James Hahn, Joaquin Neiman's 2 back. Jordan Spieth is 2 back as well. So we got going on the Brian Nelson tournament. PGA Championship is next week. By the way, Phil Mickelson has withdrew from the PGA Championship. Obviously, he won it last year, so he could have went if he automatically qualifies. Since once you win the major, you can play that for the rest of your life. So Phil can play on the PGA Championship as long as he wants, but he decided to withdraw from the tournament. He has not played since January after the controversial comments he made about the Saudi Arabian golf tour. By the way, a lot of the PGA guys are a little bit ticked off that the PGA Tour, is said they're going to not let them play on that tour, which I kind of agree with. PGA doesn't own the Saudi Arabian tour. If a guy wants to go play on that tour, they should be allowed to. They're not concerned about the European guys like Ian Poulter or Paul Casey, or even like Sergio Garcia. Who's a Spanish guy. He's well past his prime. Now he said he in frustration they can't wait to leave that tour when he lost the argument with the rules analyst a week or two ago. Don't worry about, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Smith going and playing on that tour. That being said, if the guys want to go play on that tour, they have every right to. They don't own that tour, that league or anything. So that's my comments on that. That's all I got for you guys today. This is a great show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you, Titan Talk. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, No Punts. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We had some good conversations today. Until tomorrow, so long, and have a great day.